Welcome back to Brilliantly Different, the podcast where autistic voices lead the conversation. Your hosts today are Charlie and Holly. And today we are joined by Kane, the founder of Adaptive Gaming, a mobile gaming party and an events organiser. Welcome to the podcast.
Thank you, Charlie. Holly.
For our audience who are watching, could you explain a little bit about you and how did this all began?
Yeah, no problem. So, ever since being a young boy, I've always been into gaming. Old school NES, 80s, 90s consoles. It's always been a part of kind of a way of an escape for me to kind of, enjoy, socialise with friends, things like that. And so the passion's always been there. I've always been a kind of a collector as well. So when I was earning my own money, I could start kind of hoarding everything I could possibly find. I think I'm going through the stage now of actually buying everything boxed and as pristine as I can. But yeah, so obviously it wasn't something I'd set out to do, adaptive gaming. It kind of evolved over time. I started working in just a typical job where I was in distribution, went on to be a supply chain manager, and then thought one day, there's got to be more to this than a Monday to Friday grind. You spend all your time in school Monday to Friday, getting told you only got Saturday and Sunday, which is yours. But when you're working really hard, Saturday and Sunday never really happens. Sunday comes around, you think I've got to start it all again tomorrow. Working the grind, I thought I need to do something with myself and do something that I'm passionate about. And the two things that I believe I'm great at is my passion for gaming, and I'm really good at kind of interacting and entertaining children. I've always been a kind of a big kid at art. People say I'm like the real life Peter Pan, always in my own Neverland. I think it was about mid-2017 I decided to start adaptive gaming as a weekend hustle. Now, it wasn't something I could jump into straight away because I was in the fortunate position of having a great career, and just giving that up after I'd worked really hard for it was a difficult decision. So convincing the wife and the parents, even still the parents, that I could kind of take this leap was a big decision. But 2017, I ran it for about a year and a half as a weekend hustle. So I was doing the odd community centre drop-in for young people to come and game, using my collection that I already got. Doing the odd birthday party. And I think after about a year and a half, I kind of realised and convinced everybody that this could be something good, and this is worth me taking the chance and taking the risk. So I decided to resign and go full-time. Now, unfortunately, that was November 19. I don't know if you guys can remember what happened at the beginning of the 20. COVID.
Oh, yeah.
So I'm there trying to start this, or to continue this business now as a full-time job, trying to promote social gatherings, while on the other hand, the government are saying, nope. So that was really, really difficult, especially because I wasn't completely established. So I wasn't getting support and stuff like that, because it was a hustle as such. After COVID, or should I say during COVID, we started to do things like one-to-one sessions where the government restrictions would allow us. So I'd be going to young people's houses and doing gaming sessions with them, teaching them how to be YouTubers, doing online safety, things like that. And then when COVID finally fizzled out, back to it. I haven't looked back since. It's been busy. People can't believe that I've made it a full-time kind of position. My wife now works for the organisation. I employ a couple of young local people as well. And it's been a great journey so far.
And when you said that you like the Peter Pan, does that mean you're secretly a kid disguised as an adult?
This is exactly what I meant. Yeah, this is, yeah. Even when I tell some people, like parents, when they say, my kids, they go, how old are your kids? And I go, one's 16, one's 12. And they go, you're not old enough to have a 16-year-old. And I don't know whether it is. I don't know if you've seen one of the SpongeBob movies when he sticks Gary the snail to his face and he keeps him young.
Sponge on the run. Yeah,
I think I'm kind of like that. I mean, I don't feel like I look young, but I certainly act it. Yeah.
How long does it take to set up and organise the event?
So it all depends, because it could be anything from a kind of just a one-to-one session, or it could be, if it was a gaming event or party, it could be a small birthday party with like 8 kids, or even up to like 30, 40, 50 kids, or if it's a big community event. So it does vary. We offer both indoor and outdoor setups, so all year round. We do marquees, so we have various size marquees where we can do from 8 to 30, 40 people in our biggest marquee setup. Touch wood, we've only been caught out a couple of times with weather, but we've always managed to do something. But yeah, we do these all the time, so unless it's really severe winds and we're not, we can turn up at some places and they go, are you okay there? And it's on concrete and the winds are brutal and I've got nowhere to anchor down and I'm like, nah. So we do try and do our due diligence beforehand to make sure that where we're setting up is kind of appropriate, just to avoid that happening. Because it's like other businesses, if you was going fit in a kitchen or something like that, and you was ill or you couldn't go there, it'd be like, don't worry, I'll come Tuesday and do it. You can't do that with birthday parties. You're letting not only the birthday child down, but obviously all the friends, and the mum may have invested in food and other bits. So yeah, there's always that constant pressure. But to answer your question, it does vary. But a typical marquee can take anywhere between an hour and a half to set up. So even that's only a small amount of time. We give ourselves, with a venue setup, a typical venue setup, about an hour. And for some strange reason, we've been doing it that long now, we know what we're doing. It takes us an hour and a half, depending on whether it's an indoor or outdoor setup. But pack up always only takes us about half an hour. And people say, is it because you want to go home now? No, because if it was up to me, I'd be staying all day. But yeah, it's just, I think it's probably because, you got to look at, the setup and how it's going to work, and you've had a bit of a chat with the parents or even the gamers to see what they're into, so it determines your setup. I don't like to go in there with it too predefined of what we're setting up. I introduce myself, we have a little bit of a chat, and then I know what equipment I can kind of bring and set up. But yeah, we operate from a very small vehicle, to be fair. It's only a small transit. And when we turn up at some places, and if they say we're at a festival and they put the big marquee, we turn up and they go, can I just check what we've actually booked? And I'm like, don't worry, it's all in there. The van looks small, but it's all in there. So yeah, anywhere between an hour and a half. Yeah, setup-wise.
How many people actually work with you?
So we're only a small business. There's 2 sides to the business. We've got adaptive gaming and we've got the youth and community. It's the same team. The way that the CIC, youth and community side, benefits is there's no kind of investment in terms of like staffing as such or equipment, because that's kind of carried forward from the other side of the business, which is great. But working with us, we've got 2.5 hosts, 3.5 including me. The half is someone part-time, that'd be my son. He comes and helps now and again. There's 2 young lads who co-host with me. I rotate on them because they're both still in college. And then my wife, who does a lot of the kind of taking bookings, answering questions, or at least she likes to think she does. Everything seems to kind of come my way.
Are most of your events just for children, or do you organise parties for adults too?
Yeah, so we obviously birthday parties is kind of what we call our bread and butter. It's our main kind of income stream, but we do a lot of things like weddings. One wedding in particular, and I'll name no names, the groom, I think the gaming was supposed to be for the kids, and the groom coming after the wedding or in the evening come and sat with me, and I remember the bride walking past going, like, what are you doing? And he was like, wow. And he was like, and I thought, this marriage is going to be over before it's even started. He was sat gaming with me. So things like wedding, we do community events for both parents and children to come along and game together. That's always good because we have a mixture of old school retro stuff and the new stuff. So it's nice seeing parents saying, look what I used to play, Pac-Man, Donkey Kong. And then the kids going, yeah, but look what I'm playing, Fortnite and Rocket League. But it's great seeing them interact like that. And I've also got, do a lot of corporate stuff. So I do some stuff for like the likes of Booking.com when they have their corporate stuff in the main office in Manchester. I've got some stuff with Amazon Web Services. I've actually got a gig with them this week in Birmingham, and I've got one later the year in Manchester. So that varies, but again, it's even if it's the older generation, sometimes it's, they everyone likes to play FIFA, so they still like to thrash it out on FIFA. Not sensible soccer like back in the day, but we do bring a lot of the old school stuff. So we have a big collection of old CRTs. They're the big back tellies. And I only really like running the old consoles on the old tellies because that's what it was made for. But we like to get them out when we're doing a lot of the kind of adult stuff. Brings back a bit of the old nostalgia. Makes me feel young again.
How do people find you if it's not on the website?
So social media used to be fantastic, and this is pre-COVID, and I don't know whether it was when Instagram and Facebook and Meta and all this kind of took over, but it used to be a case of you'd be able to put a small amount of money investing in doing some social posts, and we'd be inundated with requests. They've changed things now. It's all about algorithms and A to B testing, and it's an absolute minefield, and I'm a techie guy, but I just haven't got the time to even kind of look at it. So it used to be like that. A lot of it now is probably word of mouth, and I've seen kids grow up. So like I say, I've been doing this since 2017, and I've seen kids grow up, and I've been doing parties for them every year, and then I'm doing the siblings. And it's crazy, it's great, but a lot of it is kind of word of mouth. The odd social media post, it's like we've got about 9,000 followers on our Facebook page, but you're lucky if about 100 people see the post. Because how it works, if you're not engaging, if you're not liking, if you're not sharing, then it doesn't show it at the top of your feed, so you just get lost in the kind of minefield of it all. But yeah, a lot of it's kind of word of mouth, and just working with, once you've done, the beauty of what we do is, especially for birthday parties, if you've done one birthday party and they've had an amazing time, all of the kids want it for their birthday. So that's an opportunity at the end to start flashing out the old business cards. So even the old school stuff like handing business cards still works. So yeah.
How does it help people with special needs?
So with special needs, obviously, I started to kind of run this campaign as such. Was said, I used to have it on the back of one of my t-shirts. Actually, it says, "Give me a sec," and sec, it says, "Give me a sec to explain the social, emotional, cognitive benefits of gaming." So there's a lot of stigma around gaming, and I think that parents have got a new appreciation for it since COVID. Especially because I feel that parents now see that gaming kept their children not just occupied and out of the way, but connected and still socialising with the outside world and their friends, which was absolutely superb. But obviously there's loads of great benefits, and like anything, there's the bad side to gaming. And I might tell you a story about that a little bit later, but on the good side, obviously things like building up confidence, socialising. With gaming, especially if you're neurodiverse, a lot of neurodiverse people might struggle with things like eye contact and communication. The thing is with gaming, when you sat there with something that's just shared interest and you're looking at the screen and you're enjoying it, there's no need for that face-to-face. So that works really, really well for people with autism. And just see the feedback from parents is absolutely amazing. It was only earlier this week I did a send-friendly streamer session at Gamesley Community Centre, which was generously funded by Derby University, and we had 8 young neurodiverse children, and they were all together, and we were gaming. We were doing things like online safety, we did some video editing, but the main thing was we was creating content and having fun. So they weren't all playing individually, we had them in teams, so they were in pairs of 2, but all of the 8 players were all gaming on the same game, playing against each other. And trying to get the volume down in that room was unreal, but it was part of it, and that's what was great. And just seeing that, and the feedback from the parents of saying, my son's not been out the house for a long time, this is the first thing he's come to, and another parent saying, out of everything we've ever tried to take him to, provisions that are here to support him with his autism, this is the only thing he ever wants to do. And then a young girl said, what was your best part? We always try and get feedback. What's the best part about the session today? And it was having fun with other neurodiverse children. So she felt she was a part of something, she felt she was with her peers and felt comfortable and safe. So gaming's a vehicle to offer all these great things. So it works really, really well. And it's opened up. When we started adaptive gaming was, the slogan was anyone, anywhere, anytime. And that meant it doesn't matter your age, boy, girl, it doesn't matter whether we're coming where you live or whether we set up in your garden or your community centre or your church hall, and it doesn't matter whether it's for your birthday or it's a corporate event or whatever, and that's what it stood for, but it's well beyond that now. Anyone, anywhere, anytime. We adapt on all kinds of levels, which is superb. And now just working with mixed diverse groups has opened up opportunity for us, especially on the CIC side, where we now do like alternative provision. So home educated young people who struggle to work with the traditional ways of education, who are home educated and may receive funding or not, we go and deliver kind of one-to-one sessions with them, and like built on. I've actually got one today in Sandbach, so after we've finished this, I'll be going off to Sandbach for my first introductory session with another young home educated lad. So I'm really excited for that. But it just opens up so many opportunities like that. And then gaming doesn't always have to be about sitting there and console gaming. There's one young lad who I work with, and just spending some time with him and getting to see what his interests are. I could stay straight away from the books he had. He was into mythology and creatures. Ooh. And then when I started spending some time with him, rather than try and push them into gaming, I spent some time watching his YouTube channel, seeing who he'd subscribed to, watching some of the shorts, and I could quickly see he was into this like mysterious creatures and stuff. So then we've created his own trading card game. So now he's got his own trading card game brand design, and he creates his own creatures. They have their own powers. We've just last session started to design potentially doing a board game with the cards. We're also looking to do comics and short stories based on the characters that are in. So that for me is gaming. Yeah, and that was a way to bring out skills, creativity, the way that the way the system has to work for the gaming works his numeracy out, the literacy, the storytelling. It just things like that you don't get in school. But teaching them in a stealth way, you know, it's great. It's really, really great. So it's opened so many opportunities with people with autism, which is great.
That's really great. That. So does that mean like, do you also like teach people how to like make their own games? And...
Yeah. I mean, I don't say that will be a game designer. I know I could be. But no, we do a lot of 2D stuff. So a lot of easy to use kind of tools, things like Scratch and there's another one, can't remember off the top of my head. But yeah, a lot of the 2D stuff. But it's more about bringing an idea to life and showing that you can bring an idea to life. There's one workshop that I'm hoping to kind of run soon. I have advertised it, and it's I'm a massive Pokemon fan. I've actually got Magikarp there, and I've got a Gyarados down there, so I'm a huge Pokemon fan. I still have all my original cards from when I was younger. I think I have all of the first gen cards. So, but yeah, we're looking to start a Pokemon club, but it's a retro gaming Pokemon club. So one of my favourite games, probably would be a question later that you may ask me about which games I like, but it isn't my favourite, but it's one of my favourite. Is the likes of Pokemon Fire Red, Leaf Green, or even the old Game Boy ones. I remember me nana used to have the OG Game Boy, which I've now got one, and I used to play, I think it was Pokemon Yellow, and I used to sit for hours just playing Pokemon, the old school Pokemon, and I remember my mum used to shout up, "Kane," I'd say, "Yeah, bring them batteries down." I'd taken the batteries out of the controller downstairs to feed my game, but with the Game Boy, you never knew how much battery you had left. That light had slightly dim. So every time you beat a gym, you would like save, thinking, I do not want this to die. So the session that we're looking to hopefully create is based on that old school Pokemon, where the producers or the gamers get to design their own sprite character. So rather than it be your Ash Ketchum or Red, as it was in the game, you could create your own character. And then you could also create your own starter Pokemon. So instead of having Bulbasaur, Squirtle or Charmander, they could create their own Pokemon with its own set of skills and attributes. And you take that Pokemon and your character through the original game. And you can change things like dialogue. But that's not just about showing kids how to do designing and coding. That's looking back at what it was like then and how we can manipulate the existing coding that we're using even back then, which is fun. So we try and do a bit of everything, really. I mean, I would love to have adaptive gaming as a game developer, because I see what games work and what don't work for certain demographics and certain age groups. And I go to a lot of big gaming festivals like Insomnia and stuff, and they always have a development section or like a university section where there's small development companies creating games. And I walk around, there's some great stuff, and I'm sure they're fantastic for a certain demographic, but I think, would this work for adaptive gaming? No. And I think I've got some great ideas of games that would be absolutely superb. So maybe one day I might team up with somebody and make some world beaters. But until then, we were just sticking with the small stuff.
And then put the other game companies to shame.
Yeah, maybe. Or they might knock on my door and want to team up.
Yeah, like, please take our money.
That's it. Yeah. Can you promote our game? It is because there's some games that I feel if I contacted these developers, and there's some really like kind of small indie game developers, and they work so well at some of the parties and the events that we do, and I think, geez, the amount of times I've sold this game for that person, where parents or adults have said, what's that game? What's that game? What's that game? And I'm like, I think if I had a unique code, so every time they purchase it, I get a cut, I'm sure I'd be a very rich man.
It sounds so fun already.
Yeah, I think why it works so well is, anyone can buy gaming equipment. I think it's because I'm relatable, we're relatable, and we're just out for the fun. Sometimes parents or even organisers have to come and kind of give us a prompt to say, parents are going to come soon, and I'm like, I'm sorry, let me just smash this kid up on this game. Do you know what I mean? So I get well into it, so I lose track of time. It's not one of them, because it's a passion, it's not one of them where you think, oh, right, okay, we've only got half an hour left. I get so consumed in what we're doing, it's like, it's just as fun for me. And that's the important thing about what we do, is just showing that, it's not just them that are enjoying it, we're enjoying it as well, so that works really well.
If you were to work with any gaming business, what would it be?
Oh, who would it be? Would it be a hardware developer or would it be a software developer? I'd probably say at this stage software, because I don't think I could compete with the likes of PlayStation. But yeah, it would probably be a game developer. One of my favourite games, and I hope they're watching this, is Gang Beasts. Have you played Gang Beasts? So I have this slogan that says, here's grandma, and it's the reason is there's various skins on this game by Bone Loaf, and I believe they're some university grads from Sheffield, and they created a game called Gang Beasts, and it's just a silly wrestling game, last person standing, but there's loads of funny characters, and I'm always the grandma. So kids love it when I do the grandma voice. I've recently had this tattoo, so I always flex and say, here's grandma. But yeah, it's a super fun game. So probably I would love to meet and maybe potentially work with even small indie developers like Bone Loaf would be probably a great opportunity.
Which organisations that you work with to support helpings and like?
So recently, the session that I referred to earlier at Gamesley was with Connect in Glossop, and they're a charity that specialises in working with neurodiverse and autistic people. We also work with Inscape, which is part of the Together Trust, which is a specialist school in Sandbach. So I've done some careers talks with them about opportunities that are in the gaming industry. They actually said to me, which was great, because they're a specialist school, when they do these careers or they have these speakers come in, they don't push the young people to come and attend it. They can come if they want to attend it. And they said it was a record turnout. So I expected about 10 kids, and I didn't. I had like 50, 60. Fill the room up, so I'm there like, right, okay. But even delivering stuff like that, doing these careers talks and saying, these opportunities now that me as a company could offer as the business grows. Like, I wasn't great in school. I got chucked out in year 11, no GCSEs. But what pulled me into the working life was an apprenticeship, showing that I could do something on the job and be competent at doing it, as opposed to kind of knowing about it and writing about it from an academic side. So these opportunities out there now to do things like apprenticeships in event planning. Now, if a young person was leaving school and you said, do you want to do an apprenticeship in event planning? They'd be like, no. But if you went, but you're into gaming, yeah, well, you can come and do it with adaptive gaming. They'd be like, yes, please. They'd be all over it. So yeah, doing things like the careers talks, and then I did some free play with them. I'm actually back for they're doing a celebratory fundraiser this year where they're raising money. I'm going to be attending that and setting up our big marquee as well, which is great. So yeah, and working with local authorities as well. So every kind of local authority has like a kind of person that's designated for looking after the like kind of send side of the community and stuff. And also communities, I don't know if you're aware, do things like local offer. So local offers normally, like if we did high peak local offer, it would be about what services are available for neurodivergent people within the area. I always like to come and set up a stand there and show them what we do, and get them to follow us so they know some of the work we might be doing in the different area, because obviously we travel all over. So yeah, many different ones, but yeah, always trying to get more involved.
I bet it must be easy, like asking someone if they like gaming. That must be an easier like for.
Yeah, it is. I mean, everyone. I suppose it's, you know, when you're working with young people, we do a lot of holiday stuff. So we get booked up throughout all the holiday periods. We work with things like government-funded schemes like the HAF, which is holiday activity and food. So they put on kids that are entitled to free school meals. They put on healthy food for them, but they like to also accompany that with enriching activities. Now, initially, when I tried to get in with HAF and say, I want to do gaming, they were like, they'd rather do like arts, crafts, sports, dance, things like that, which is absolutely superb, but it's not for everybody. But for me, if you could ask a room of young people who likes football, who likes this, there's going to be varying kind of responses to it. And this day and age, this kind of generation, and not so far previous generations, if you say, who's into gaming, almost every hand goes up. Yeah, so it's a universal thing, it's a universal language. I remember I did something in Oldham where there were separated immigrants, so there were people that had come over to the country separated from the parents, and these were kind of young adults, and we had so many different kind of people from different backgrounds, ethnicities, and some of them didn't really speak great English and some didn't speak English at all, so we had this mixed, diverse room. Yet as soon as the gaming started, you wouldn't have known that some couldn't speak English because the laughter that was created in the room, and it just shows just how universal gaming is. It's absolutely fantastic. So yeah.
If adaptive gaming was like more out there, who would you mostly go to, like based on like any type of person?
Right, okay. For me, the legacy of adaptive gaming, originally when I started adaptive gaming and it was all about kind of like entertainment, birthday parties and stuff, I wanted one day for adaptive gaming to be like managing esports. So like I'd have my own team. I get the opportunity to see some really talented players, and I think if they was competing at their age group in esports, which is a huge thing that's now has been coming to this country, and is getting bigger and bigger and bigger. You know, you got your footballers who are competing and paid great money to compete, and their specialised field, but now gaming's becoming more and more part of that. And when you ask a kid now, what do you want to be when you leave school? Yeah, it used to always be footballer, and it probably is still quite a lot say football, but people say gamers, YouTubers, they want to be influencers. So yeah, originally I wanted adaptive gaming to become maybe a management company where I could manage these young gamers, but now I'm undiagnosed, but I reckon I suffer from ADHD, so I really struggle to kind of focus on one thing, and whatever drives my passion is where I go. And that's exactly what this side of the business has done, working with young people, showing the gaming for good, working with neurodiverse children. That for me is a passion. So for me to kind of know or meet somebody that could be more influential in that side, I'm not too sure, but the legacy would be that because we are a mobile company and we're based in Glossop, our standard radius for most of our packages is like 50 miles, but that covers the Wirral, Cheshire, you've got Greater Manchester, you've got Yorkshire, even down as far as Stoke-on-Trent. People still book us in London and Birmingham for like bigger events, but our standard radius is 50 miles, and people that know us or have heard of us will pay a little bit extra just to go beyond that radius. So I think what I'd like to do is create more consistency in one area, and one of the areas I'd like to do is things more locally, because I still do things locally now. People have never even heard of you, and I'm like, I'd love to be more out there locally. It would save me money on travel, certainly, but to be there consistently for the young people. And I think in order for me to do that, I'd have to be able to kind of set up adaptive gaming hubs and actually mentor young people to pass on what we're doing. When I can't be in every place as much as I try to be and I want to be, and I probably am now, that's not possible. So when the young people I work with, I see them come through and I see the passion that they've got, and I hope that one day I can kind of replicate that in other areas and be more consistent in young people's lives, really. So not any one person. If somebody comes and says, here's £100,000, make it happen. Yeah, that would be my guy. But no, not one person in particular.
What do you have any favourite games?
So I touched on that before.
Oh, yeah.
So Pokemon's definitely one of my old school ones. Super Mario Bros. 3's up there. Old school Super Mario is pretty good. My boys always say, when I first completed the game, I was an adult. And they say, Dad, if you had this when you were young, how can you never completed it? I'm trying to explain to my children that gaming was, it might have looked like it was for kids, but it was also for adults. It didn't matter what the game was. Now you can differentiate between what's for an adult and what's for a kid. Although some kids still play adult games, which they shouldn't. So Super Mario Bros. 3 was one that I grew up with, and I have to explain to my boys that I didn't complete it till I was an adult because either the computer crashed and you used to have to do the old blowing in cartridge on the NES, or the electricity ran out, or you would leave your console on when your mum says, right, bed, and you think, oh, I'm so far, and you couldn't save it. There was no save function. You'd turn your telly off and pray to God, and you wake up in the morning and it's still screen. You're like, no. I remember when I used to try and, when I was doing the bosses at some of the levels on Super Mario Bros. 3, me and my brother gamed all the time, and because we were putting each other off, or we were that excited to complete it, one of us had hide under the quilt, try and not listen, and playing, please, I hope we can get past this level here. It's absolutely great. So I have very fond memories of Super Mario Bros. 3. But I think that's probably that, and a couple of PC games, one being Dungeon Keeper, which was a strategic top-down. It was done by Bullfrog. I still play that today, and that's old. I still play it because there's a great online community that they still kind of develop games and levels for it, which is absolutely great. But one of my all-time favourites, and probably has spoilt gaming in some ways for me, is The Last of Us.
Oh.
So Last of Us, story-driven games, although I don't get to play many of them because I'm busy. That's one that I've been invested in and I've completed a couple of times. That for me set the bar really high in terms of getting you really into a storyline. Graphics absolutely incredible. So now when I see new games releasing, I'm always comparing them to, but it's not Last of Us though, is it? Although when they tried to do the TV adaptation of it, it was terrible. And it was terrible because, and I know people slated some of the actors and that were in it. It was nothing to do with that for me. For me, it was how gripping the story was on the game, but how they kind of skimmed over it in the in the TV series. I was like, geez, it had me on the game. I know I already knew the story, so it's difficult to engage with it in that way. But for me, Last of Us. Have we played Last of Us? Have we played?
I sort of played it.
I've seen snippets of it.
Yeah, well, I definitely recommend it. It's absolutely incredible. Lots of jump scares, and it's not your run-of-the-mill hack and slash or come out shooting. Resources and ammo are very scarce. It took me a while before I thought, why have they only given me 4 shotgun shells? How am I supposed to kill this room of creatures with just 4 shotgun shells? But then I quickly realised, I think I'm supposed to be sneaking past these creatures and only engage when you need to. So it was a really thought-provoking game for me. So yeah, it was superb. So yeah, Last of Us.
And speaking of TV shows, with video games now entering the Hollywood system, like we see in games being adapted to films and TVs, is there a game that you think would make a really great film or TV show?
A game that would. I have been asked this question before. I think they attempted to do Assassin's Creed once. I haven't seen it. But a proper version of Assassin's Creed is probably good. Obviously, Last of Us they've spoiled with the TV series. Resident Evil they've tried over and over again, but they don't tick it for me. So at this stage, I'd say no. It's always kind of the way round, I think. Obviously the Mortal Kombats have been good. I've just watched the new Mortal Kombat, which is super.
I need to watch it.
Yeah, I love that one.
I didn't like the first new one. I love the old one. The first new one, who's this Cole guy? He is terrible. He is shocking. And luckily they killed him off. No spoilers. Sorry. But I'm a Mortal Kombat fan. That's another one of my tattoos. I've got Sub-Zero. Still a lot of work to be done on it. Sub-Zero, Scorpion. So Mortal Kombat is one of the games that I kind of pride myself in. I'm undefeated on the old school stuff, so I always offer V-Bucks or cash reward for anyone that can beat me on it during an event or party. So if you're ever at an adaptive gaming party, please do challenge me on that, because I am undefeated. Although one of my colleagues would tell me otherwise. don't know why he keeps insisting that he beat me, but it's normally first to 2 rounds. I keep having to remind him that just because you beat me on 1 round, it's first to 2. So I like there's good adaptations of games out there, but even games that are just films that are gaming related, and it doesn't necessarily have to be about a particular game. One of my favourite gaming films is a film from 1989 called The Wizard.
Oh, I've seen that.
You've seen The Wizard? Oh,
Yeah.
superb. So people slated The Wizard and said it's just this big extended commercial to advertise the Nintendo Entertainment System, and I think the North American release of Super Mario Bros. 3, one of my favourite games. That's probably why I liked it so much. But I saw the hidden messages beyond that, and although they didn't come out and actually say it, it's an inspiring film. If you haven't, well, you've seen it. Have you seen it, Charlie?
I haven't seen it, but I will.
Do watch it, because it is quite inspiring, because although they don't come out and say one of the main characters, Jimmy, I think his name is, the young lad, he's, although they don't say he's autistic, and he's suffering from trauma from losing his sister, and his brother, who's got a different dad, they've been separated, so Jimmy's with his mum and his stepdad, and the older brother is with the dad with no mum, and the new stepdad wants to put Jimmy into a specialist home because he's too much to handle, and he ends up going on the run with his brother, and they go and hustle through all the arcades across America, hustling their way, and they end up in the Nintendo World Championship. Well, although it's not the Nintendo World Championship, it's the Armageddon, which is supposed to reflect the Nintendo World Championship. But just showing how kids were, going along and beating adults in arcades and stuff like that, and hustling the way, but the way it brought the family together at the end, and the way it gave Jimmy this sense of achievement, and that's something that gaming offers, and it's something that we see all the time, is that, and it's something I definitely experienced, is that was always something I was good at, it was something that I was proud of, and you could see throughout the film and the story of this film that, the respect he got and the appreciation and the love he got, and that sense of kind of success was amazing. So for me, it doesn't always necessarily have to be an adaptation of a particular game as such, but gaming related, where it's got a strong message like that is superb.
Do you think one day the video game adaptations will be kind of like the next superheroes in like that?
Yeah, they could be. I mean, one thing that gets me, and you're probably the same now, is I used to love films. I mean, I still love films, but they're too short. Everyone loves a binge now. Everyone loves a binge. I mean, Stranger Things, Jesus Christ, I can't wait to start that again. Game of Thrones, all of those are absolutely superb. And actually, to answer your question before, a Game of Thrones, and again, they probably tried little versions of it, but a proper Game of Thrones would be a great way to make a game, I suppose. But yeah, so there's loads of ways they could be changing the way they do things in the gaming. But I think for me, videos are too short. It's about the TV series, and I think that games like that offer that. That's the difference. I think when I was talking about The Last of Us before, it was almost like the game offered this really in-depth story, whereas they didn't even achieve that in a series, never mind a film. They wouldn't have even achieved it. So for me, I think it is going to be the way forward, and I think that the hopefully when they see a great game come out, they'll go, do you know what? Let's make it into a TV series and not a film. So Fallout, I think I've not started to watch it. Yeah,
I've seen it.
I started to watch it, but I've not finished it yet. But even that, I'm glad that they didn't just do a Fallout film, because it just would have fallen wayside. It's all about even actors now. You see some of the actors in games. They don't have to be on screen and be a big Hollywood actor now. People are making careers doing acting in games, and you see how they're made. I remember watching the making of Last of Us, the game, and I think some of it was filmed during COVID as well. I don't know, it was a release of part 2. And you see some of the way that they do it. And even there's a scene where Joel loses his daughter at the beginning, and it's a really touching scene in the thing. It had me on the game. I was shocked. I'm like, still gets me now. And seeing that acted out was so powerful, and they did it with little dots all over him so they could pick up the
motion capture.
But they acted it out. It wasn't, she was in his arms and they were crying, and it's incredible. So even that, it takes a lot. So Lot of respect for those that kind of...
like all the details and having the actors do the motion capture
Yeah.
for
Yeah.
realistic, like with the emotions.
Yeah, it's absolutely fantastic. It's funny when you watch it when they're using props. So
Yeah.
he's got an axe in the game and all of a sudden they're using this little foam
Oh,
wobble.
yeah, like,
Yeah, he's
yeah.
giving it
Different ways of doing it.
That doesn't
Yeah.
feel, you don't feel that, but
Yeah.
in terms of the acting,
Yeah.
it's absolutely incredible.
Because I think I remembered seeing one. I think it was from one of the Star Wars games. I think it was. I'm not sure if it was Jedi Fallen Order or
Yeah.
Jedi
Yeah.
Survivor.
Right.
But I remember seeing one with Cameron Monaghan, who plays the main character in the mocap suit, and I think he had like these like lightsaber like
Yeah. Oh, there were actually
Yeah.
lights with it,
Yeah.
right? Because normally like water woggles.
Oh yeah, I think it was something
Foam
like that.
bubbles,
Yeah,
yeah.
something like that. Yeah.
Yeah, you don't get the same feeling when
Yeah.
you're watching it like that, but the appreciation's there.
Yeah.
It's really, really creative. Love it. So the gaming in its entirety like that is just so powerful. It's even yourself there, you know,
Yeah.
things you learn and the passion for it. It's crazy.
I was watching a trailer the other day and it was of Resident Evil because since it was like a game, they're actually changing it into a TV series now.
Yeah.
And I think they were making it a movie as well.
Yes.
But it looks more like the actual game than anything else, and there's
Yeah.
like loads of props. But then when I see like another game being turned into a movie, because they're doing a Minecraft movie again,
Yeah, I love Minecraft.
yeah, and
And the movie.
Jack Black was actually playing Steve, and he's played
Right.
Minecraft before,
Yeah.
and I was like, you've played games, you've got into the movies itself, and it's how different is it and all that,
Yeah.
because his new one is like gonna be so different,
Yeah.
because now they're bringing in more characters, more
Yeah.
actors and that, and one of the more famous ones is gonna be Hero Brian, and
Yeah.
I was like, I'm not gonna get used to it because
Yeah.
I'm used to playing the game because I was playing it yesterday in
Yeah.
Call of Duty, and so all the games, I'm not used to gonna be seeing it in a movie
Yeah.
and everything. But I was like, Dad, you've got to do this, you've got
Yeah.
to do that, because he's playing kids' games.
Yeah.
But he was like, you need to give advice to me to play games and that. I was like, I'm not doing that, you can learn on yourself.
Yeah.
But I was like, all the adults are giving advice to the kids,
Yeah.
and who would you give advice to? So you have to get used to it so much.
Yeah, no. I mean, and Jack Black is, like you say, he's I think he played Bowser as well, didn't he?
yeah.
Mario. I mean, I love the Mario movies.
Oh yeah.
But for me, Minecraft, I think one of the best characters was the old school gamer.
Oh, like Jason Momoa's
Yeah,
character.
he made it for me.
Yeah.
I thought Jack Black, I mean, I'm a big Jack Black fan.
Yeah.
But for me, I mean, like Tenacious D and all the rest of it, I
yeah.
love those. Tenacious D, Pick of Destiny. But yeah, he was amazing and he stole the spotlight for me. It was just, I love that funny character edge that he gave it. But Resident Evil, I've seen little bits of it. I'm a massive zombie fan. One of my favourite films is Shaun of the Dead.
Yeah,
I like Shaun of the
Shaun
Dead.
of the Dead. I mean, the trilogy is great, but Shaun of the Dead. So I've got a thing for zombies. Hence, Last of Us always
Yeah.
not zombie. But Resident Evil, they throw it in a different edge. It's like it's not always zombies. It's about evil, pure evil, and I think they're going to do more of that. Less like because I remember playing Resident Evil 2 when I had it. When I was younger, I used to go to the shop and it was like £5 for a gaming magazine with a demo. And I remember having Resident Evil 2 on demo when you only got the first section of the first level, and I just played it over and over and over again. I was terrified. But that was your typical limp drag type zombie, whereas things have changed now. They're like hybrid. So yeah, I couldn't see Jack Black in a zombie film though.
I think he's planning on doing it because I have seen like a few things
Yeah.
of him wanting to be a zombie.
Yeah, that'd be
Because-
funny.
Yeah.
Yeah, that would
Because
be.
there's been like loads of actors who've gone
Yeah.
into the whole zombie thing, and I've
Yeah,
seen it,
yeah.
and I was like, this is great because he's actually like getting into more adventure stuff and
Yeah.
all that, especially with his YouTube channel being so famous and him
Yeah,
having his own
yeah.
TV series.
Yeah.
That I think he would play a good zombie in that.
There's a YouTuber I like watching, and I think Jack Black endorsed him. I think he's Donkey. Have you ever heard of Donkey?
I think so.
Donkey does like he does reviews of games, but he's really comical with it. I don't always agree with him. My son does. My son like takes his word for gospel. I'm like, give it a break. But he plays the games and just slates them. So no matter how good they are, he'll just pick out of it. But I think I can't remember where he was, Jack Black, but he was interviewed and he said, "Oh, I watched Donkey," and I thought, "Wow, that is mint for Donkey getting that shout out there." Jeez, well, yeah. Maybe one day I might be a YouTuber. Jack Black will give me a shout out.
Yeah, it gets, if you get like a shout out and like it becomes more popular
Yeah,
with
it
certain
does,
things.
it does. And it's about, you know, I think early doors I approached a couple of YouTubers and said, you know, I'd like to kind of collab and work together because I knew it would be great for the business, like taking the business forward. But when you get that status, all of a sudden you don't get to speak to the person, it's the management team, and unless there's big money involved, you don't get a sniff. So yeah, but maybe one day one of the local ones, some of the local famous YouTubers might do something for charity or do something to help support the community work we do, but we'll see.
Have there ever, during these events, have there ever been any chicken jockeys?
Oh yeah, plenty. And most recently, 6'7". That happens all the time. But during our events, we play a lot of music, and I did a video once of a KSI song.
Oh yeah.
And the kids were singing the KSI song, and I filmed it, and I think it got like 300,000 views on TikTok, which was like one of my best videos I'd done. But it was just them just singing KSI songs, which was crazy. But during the events and parties, it's not your typical kind of headphones, serious gaming. We're not bothered that you can't hear the game. Yeah, there's sound coming out, but there's that many games going off. I mean, you've probably seen it if you've had a look. We've got huge, like, 90-inch, 120-inch screen after screen after screen, and rows of players just playing. So the noise in there, you can't even hear the game noise. There's screaming, squealing, excitement. But we do play music. So things like Chug Jug With You, which was a famous song for a young lad who sang it for Fortnite, and Skibbity Toilet. You know, we play all the bangers. But we do, so we play music as well. So a lot of what we do is like funny kind of sing-along music that's gaming themed. Games that are kind of songs that trend on TikTok and things like that. So there's always a great atmosphere in the environments we set up. So yeah. Chicken jockey.
Oh,
yeah,
I was gonna.
Yeah. Steve's
so
Chicken
trendy.
Shack. Yeah, I think I played, and that what is it? Peaches.
Oh,
Yeah. We played that a few times.
They're all like trending at the minute.
Yeah.
It's good because we also do, it's not just, like I say, it's just gaming. We also do things like Guitar Hero. We do dance mats. So it's not just about console gaming, you know. Guitar Hero, and we put some of the bangers on, and we can put some of the new stuff on like that, and we do karaoke, so we have them singing. So sometimes we might have, even the lads, the girls, whatever, we're gaming, but you'll have someone in the corner jamming on karaoke, especially at the community events. They absolutely love it. So yeah, some of the gaming tunes have come out before, but you've always got to be careful as well, because you put your gaming songs on, you gotta make sure they're clean. And the amount of times I've been gaming and I hear a bad word and I'm like, really straight over, sorry, I didn't know that. Or some kids say, "We put this song," and I'm like, "Is it clean?" It's the first thing I ask. He goes, "We put this song," and I go, "Is it clean?" They go, "Yeah, it's clean." And then I'm like, "Well, what has he just said?" Oh, get me into trouble.
Well, they've started bringing out like Lego, but it's also to do with gaming, because like Minecraft turned into Lego.
Yeah.
You've got like Assassin's Creed, you've got like loads.
Lego's huge though, it always has been, hasn't it?
Yeah, my dad's like, because he's obsessed with gaming, and so am I. So my house is full of like consoles and Lego and that. But if one thing was to come out, me and my dad and my sister be playing it constantly, and we're used to doing it all.
Yeah.
But we're always like trying to slow down in the gaming because it's getting more and more into it.
I think they need. I mean, I think I might be wrong, but I'm pretty sure I heard a rumor that Lego's falling off Fortnite.
Oh.
Yeah, they're doing Fortnite for Lego, and
But I think they're dropping it, aren't they? I believe.
because no one's
playing on it. Yeah, so it just shows you sometimes adapting something so popular like Lego into gaming. Don't get me wrong, the Lego games are crazy. You know, they're amazing. But doing it a bit themed like that, like Fortnite, it might have took well initially, but I don't think they, like you say, I think they're dropping it. So
It's because one of the new Legos that's coming out is the tomato head out of Fortnite. So
Right.
no one likes it, so they're dropping it in everything because no
Yeah.
one's really going for the Fortnite stuff.
Yeah, it's probably because Tomato Head's got a round head.
Yeah.
Too blocky, wouldn't it, if you tried to build it
Yeah,
out
yeah,
like a Minecraft character. Steve.
yeah,
Tomato Steve.
with Jack Black's beard on it. Like, yeah,
Detachable.
yeah,
It'd be weird just seeing it like that.
Yeah.
Because I know they're bringing out loads of more Minecraft stuff
Yeah.
in Lego because Minecraft's getting more famous because of the new updates and everything.
Yeah, Minecraft's always been a popular one. It's been a popular game for us. It fits a different purpose sometimes. Like I did a party the other day and the birthday boy sat with a few friends playing Minecraft pretty much the entire time, which is quite unheard of really in that environment we create. Because the things with Minecraft is you got to invest time in kind of producing, you know, creating something and making something, and they're there for a certain period of time and they've got to build, you know, build a full city or whatever they're doing. Whereas small round based games where they've got 10, 15 minutes dipping in and out are probably work best. But yeah, I'm surprised. Sometimes Minecraft works really, really well as well. So,
Have you ever thought about expanded it to outside of the UK?
no, I haven't. Always, because I always think, where would I do it? And I like going on holiday, so I like a bit of sun. And straight away I think, would my marquees work in sun? You know, in the heat, it does get quite warm. However, we do have fans and stuff, and we keep them cool during the summer. But I think some of the really extreme places might be a bit too warm. But no, not necessarily. Not at this stage anyway. But maybe in the future.
Retro or modern?
Retro.
Mario or Sonic?
Mario.
Fortnite or Minecraft?
Oh, Minecraft.
Giveaways
or exclusive merch?
Yes. Oh, I do love me merch. I'll have to go for merch. Yeah.
Twitch or YouTube?
YouTube.
Mario Kart or Smash Bros?
Mario Kart.
Mortal Kombat or Street Fighter?
Mortal Kombat.
Casual tournaments or high stake competition?
Oh, I'd have to go cash. Yeah, I get way too invested if it was high stake, so I'll go cash for fun, just for fun.
And I think that might be it, I think.
Yeah, no problem. Well, absolute pleasure. Thanks,
yeah,
Charlie.
yeah,
Really
yeah.
appreciate the time. And Holly, thank you very much.
Thank you for coming.
Yeah,
thank
absolute
you.
pleasure.
Yeah. Thanks for listening to Brilliantly Different. Today we spoke with the founder of Adaptive Gaming. Please share this episode. Details are in the description. And remember, stay brilliantly different.